Hi, I'm Gary Peterson, founder and owner of U.S. Gun Class. U.S. Gun Class trains thousands of students a month in live classes around the U.S. Our students get outstanding training using the best classroom materials available, taught by highly trained instructors. In this online course, I'm going to share that material with you. I'll talk about what you need to know to keep yourself and your family safe, what you need to know to safely operate a firearm, and what you need to know to keep yourself out of prison. Now, there are other online classes available. In some of them, you just watch a 20-minute video, but you get what you pay for. Would you rather take a 20-minute skydiving course because it's cheaper, or would you want to take a course from a professional that'll teach you what you need to know to keep you from crashing into the ground? There are people in prison for the rest of their lives because they didn't know what I'm going to teach you in this course. I don't want that to happen to you. So just like our live concealed carry classes, this online course is going to be the best class available. We start our classes with this question: why are you here? You're here because you want to keep yourself and your family safe. So what does it take to be safe with a concealed handgun? It takes three things. You need the right attitude, you need to adapt your lifestyle, and you need a significant amount of training. Let's look at each one of those. First, you need the right attitude. You're not going to be some junior cop who can boss people around. Having a carry permit doesn't give you any extra enforcement rights. Instead, it puts extra restrictions on you. Second, you need to adapt your lifestyle. There are things you can't do anymore, like drink and carry. You can't wave good morning to people anymore with your middle finger. You can't honk at people in traffic. There are places you can't go anymore, things you can't say anymore. If you do these things, they could escalate. And now you're not the innocent party, and you're in trouble. Third, you need a significant amount of training. Now, the training that you're going to get in this class will cover all the fundamentals. You'll know the basics of everything you need to know. But just knowing it up here and having the ability to apply it in a real live situation, those are very different. You will not rise to the occasion. You will sink to your lowest level of training. So if you don't have the right attitude, if you're not willing to adapt your lifestyle, or if you don't have a significant amount of training, I beg you, please don't carry a firearm. You'll be a danger to yourself and those around you. I want to talk about our duty as first responders. There are three reasons why you'd call 911. You need a fire truck, an ambulance, or the police to come. The problem with all of them is that it's going to take a long time for them to get there. In the 5, 10, or 15 minutes that it takes for the professionals to get there, a lot of really bad things can happen, and this is when every second counts. A small fire can turn into an out-of-control raging blaze. In a medical emergency, your loved one could die. You could be the victim of a violent attack. You are your family's first responder. You need to have fire extinguishers. You need to learn CPR and have first aid skills. And you need to have some means of physical protection. In this course, we're talking about physical protection using firearms, but they are the absolute last resort. Let's get real and talk about shooting someone. There are three questions you'd better have answered in advance. Should you shoot? Could you shoot? And would you shoot someone? If you don't know the answers when you're in the middle of a dangerous situation, you're going to freeze. And when you freeze, you die. So first, should you shoot? There are a lot of undercover DEA agents who've been shot by well-meaning civilians who mistook them for a bad guy. Now, if you do that, you're going to spend a lot of years in prison. Second, could you shoot? In World War II, 80% of U.S. soldiers could not shoot at the enemy. They would either not shoot at all or they'd shoot over their heads. The Army realized that they needed more realistic training. By Korea, they had that percentage down to 50%. And by Vietnam, with realistic pop-up targets, they had it down to 5%. Now, if they couldn't do it in a war while being shot at, do you think you could? Third, would you shoot? I've talked to people who think they're going to be the sheepdogs who are going to protect all the oblivious sheep out there who get in trouble. Well, that's fine. I've also talked to people who carry a gun every day who have told me that they will only use their gun to protect themselves and their family. They realize the consequences of using a gun. One of them said this to me, "My wife and my daughters need me more than some guy who got himself in trouble by not paying attention. I'll help in any way I can by yelling, calling 911, and being a good witness, but I will not use my gun for someone I don't know." Again, you need to think about these questions in advance and know what you would do. I've talked about a lot of things in this introduction to set the tone for the course. My main purpose is to show you that this is very serious. You're not going to be some Rambo cowboy who saves the world. In fact, you need to do everything you can to stay out of trouble and avoid using guns. Here's a phrase that I'm going to use over and over in this course. You'll be sick of me saying it, but you need to get it. Here it is. If you ever shoot someone, no matter how justified it is, your life as you know it is over. Don't ever do it unless it's the only, absolute, last resort to save your life or the life of someone you care about. Now, let's get into the class. We've got a lot of important information to cover. I'm going to cover all the basics in an organized manner. If you're new to guns, you'll learn the fundamentals. Even if you have firearm experience, you're going to learn a lot. We're going to talk about personal safety, which is how to stay out of trouble, handgun safety, handgun fundamentals, handgun operation, handgun selection, handgun shooting, handgun concealment, the legal use of force, police encounters, the legal aftermath, federal laws, and state laws. We'll see you in the next section.